In this lecture, let's go ahead and let's learn how to extend the user model. So in the previous lecture, we had actually made use of the user model to register users into our website. But now let's say if we actually want to go ahead and let's say you want to add more information to the user. So by default, the user model does not have many fields. We only have the username, password, email fields for the user. So let's say you also want to save some additional information for the user, like let's say the user's profile picture, so on and so forth. So for that very reason, what you could do is that you could create a new model and you could actually make that particular model extend the basic user model which you had. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and let's create a brand new model here. So let's go to models.py for users. So make sure that you're into your users app. So let's go to users, and in here let's go inside the models.py. So here is the file which we are looking for, and in here we create a new model and we call that particular model as, let's say, profile. So let's say this particular model saves information about the user like the profile picture or the username, so on and so forth. So let's create that model. So I would say class profile to create a model. This is going to extend from models.model. And here, in order to associate the user model with this particular model, here we are actually going to add a one-to-one field. And we will be adding one-to-one field here because every user which we have registered on our site must have one profile, and one user cannot have multiple profiles, or a profile cannot belong to multiple users. Henceforth, we establish a one-to-one relationship here. So here I'll create a user field, and this field is going to be the one-to-one field. So here I would say models dot, that's going to be one-to-one field. And then here, first of all, you need to associate this particular user with the user model which you have. Now the user model is actually present in the settings file as auth user model, and henceforth we first need to import that. So here I need to say from django.conf, which is django.config, import the settings first. And in here, once we have imported the settings, our next job is to actually go ahead and then use that model or associate that particular model with this one-to-one field. So here I would say settings dot, and the model which we are looking for is the auth underscore user underscore model. So once we have associated that model, we are good to go. And if you are using some model and if you want to associate that model with another model as one-to-one field, you could simply directly use the model name here. But as we are working with the built-in user model, we actually had to go ahead and use it from the settings package there. Okay, so once this thing is done, we also set the on delete option for this, and the on delete specifies what happens when we go ahead and delete this particular field. So this should say models.cascade, which basically means that if a model is deleted, that means the profile of the user should also be deleted. Okay, so then let's go ahead and let's start adding different fields which we want. So let's say for now we want to save the user's profile picture. So we could go ahead and create a profile field for this. So here I'll name this thing as photo. And then this is going to be an image field. So I would say models.image field. And then whenever you're using or creating an image field in Django, you always need to set up a location where this needs to be uploaded. So here I would say I want to upload to a new directory which I want to create, which is the users. And then after that, I actually want to pass in the year, month, and the date on which that particular image is uploaded as the name of that particular image. So here I would say /%y, /%m, /%d. And then I would also set the blank to true, which means that this field could remain blank if we want to. That means if you go ahead and create a profile, and if that profile does not have any photo, that particular profile object could actually exist in the database. And now once this thing is done, let's create a string representation method for this. So here I would say def str, and this is nothing but this is basically the thing which will act as a string representation of that object, which means when this object is actually saved in the Django admin, whenever we use this object, the object name should be displayed on that particular thing. So here I'll make this thing return. So here I'll make this thing return self.user. So once we have added this particular image field, one more thing that needs to be done with this image field is that whenever we are uploading images or whenever we are working with images, we always need to use a package which is called as pillow. So in Django, whenever we are working with images, you have to use pillow. So let's go ahead and install that package. So in order to install that package, you type in pip install pillow, hit enter, and pillow should be installed for you. So once pillow is installed, we are pretty much good to go. So one more thing that needs to be done is that as we are working with images, these images need to be uploaded to a certain folder location. So we actually have to go ahead and manually set the location where these images are actually saved. So here, let's go to the settings.py file. So I would go right back to the main project, go to settings.py, and in here, first of all, you need to import OS. So let's go to the top and import the OS module. And this is because as the images are going to be stored on our computer, we basically need to find the exact path on our computer. And in order to get the exact path, first of all, we actually have to go ahead, import the OS module, because the OS module gives us the base path of our computer. So here, once OS is imported, first we set the media URL. So the media URL is going to be, let's say I want to upload it in the folder media. So I would specify the path as media. Now obviously this path cannot be directly set. Instead, what we have to do is that we have to get the exact path on our computer. And for that, we need to get the root path, which is nothing but the entire path. So I would say media underscore root equals, and in order to get the root path, I would say os.path, which is going to give us access to the path, and then we join that particular path with media. So here I would say path.join, and I'm going to pass in the base directory, which is nothing but the base path, and connect it with media /. Now the next thing which needs to be done is that as the images which are being uploaded here, they also have their very own URLs as well. That means whenever we click on those particular images, we should be able to get those images in our web browser. And in order to do that, we also need to set up the paths for them in the URL patterns as well. So here we need to go to the urls.py file of our main project. And just as we have the two URL patterns, one is for admin and the other one is for the users app, over here we also need to set the URL patterns for the images as well. So here you say plus equals, which basically means append to this, and here you need to append static, because that's actually a static path, and you also need to import static as well. So here you would say from django.config.urls import static. And then to this particular static, we basically have to pass in the media URL and the media root. So here I would say from settings. So that means we also need to import settings as well. So from django.conf or config, import the settings. And in here, we basically have to say settings dot get access to the media URL. So first we pass in the media URL. And then the document root, that means where the documents or the images are going to be actually uploaded, that is going to be media root. So here I would say document underscore root, that's going to be settings dot media root. Once that thing is done, we are pretty much good to go. So I could simply save this, and I think it's actually better if we say URL patterns here plus equals this, and that should work out well. Okay, so once this thing is done, now we have pretty much set the path for everything. And now let's see if we are actually able to go ahead and save some sort of an image or create a profile and then add a particular image for that particular user. So in order to do that, as we have created a model, first of all, we have to go ahead and register that particular model. So I'll go to the admin site, which is admin.py for the app. And here I would say from .models, I want to import the profile model and then simply register that model. So admin.site.register the profile model. Once that thing is done, I could now open up the terminal, make migrations. So I would say Python manage.py, make migrations, and then simply say migrate. But before that, I guess we do have some error here. So I guess in the URLs file which we have set up right now, okay, it has actually imported a couple of things from the locations which we don't want to, and it has made a wrong import there. So I simply could delete that, and once that thing is done, we should be good to go. So let's execute make migrations command once again, and again we have an error which says module object is not callable. So let's see what exactly went wrong there. Okay, so here we have made a slight mistake. We actually had to import static from urls.static, and once that thing is done, let's run this one more time. And this time, as you can see, the migrations were made, and now let's also migrate. So python manage.py migrate, and now as you can see, the migrations have been done. That means now we should be able to access that particular model. So now let's run the server. So python manage.py run server. Server is up and running. Let's go to the admin. Let's log in. Now here, as you can see, for the users, we have something called as profiles. I could go to profiles and I could create a new profile for any user which we have. So let's create a profile for the super user, and here I could choose any profile picture for this particular user. So let me choose a profile picture and see if that really works. So I've actually chosen an avatar picture for this particular user, and now let's click on save and let's see if that image would be uploaded. So if I click on save, here we do have an error which says type error at users profile add, and it also will give us the location where exactly this went wrong. So let's handle this error and let's see what exactly went wrong. Okay, so if we take a look at the user, it says that str return non-string type user. That means if I now go back here, it basically says that the str method, and the str method we have actually set it in the models.py file. So let's go over there. So this is the method which we are talking about, and here it says that it actually returned a non-string type, and that is true, and it says that we have returned the type as user, which is actually true, but here we actually have to return a string. So we don't have any kind of a string field here. So in order to return a string value here, what we could do is that in the user model, we have something which is called as the username, and username is actually of the type string. So here instead I could say dot username, and if I do that, now this error would be fixed. So let's head back here, and now let's go to profiles. Let's try adding the profile one more time for this user. Let's choose an image. So I've chosen an avatar image. If I click on save this time, as you can see, the profile has been created without any issues, and we don't get an error either. And now if I go to the profile here, as you can see, we also have the image uploaded at this particular location as well, along with the date format which is specified up over here. So now if I open this file up, let's see what do we get. So as you can see, this file is actually currently located at localhost, and it also has this address as well, which is /media/users. And if you actually go to VS Code, you should be able to see that that particular image will also be present up over here as well. So here, let's view the directory. If you take a look at the project, we have the media folder, and inside the media folder we also have the users folder, then this folder right up over here, and then we also have the images which are currently uploaded. So that means the image upload functionality is working well, and we are successfully able to extend the user model, create a profile for the user, and upload the profile picture for a particular user. Now in the next lecture, let's go ahead and let's actually create a form so that we could edit the user's profile. So let's do that in the next one. Thank you.